Hello everyone, I'm Renown0 and today we're going to be talking about two topics in this video. First one being how now these weirdos have decided to bring up old tweets and bring up nonsense that the Soskas apparently have said just to try to drum up some nonsense. I mean, they did the same exact thing when Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett's Alpha Core was coming out, where they were bringing up the supposed Q stuff and all the previous stuff that he's been involved in or whatever, and the conspiracies or whatever they wanted to do. But now they're doing the same exact thing with the Soska sisters, bringing up old nonsense that doesn't really matter to anything because at the end of the day, it's all about the writing. It's not about the person's personal politics when it comes to being a part of the Ripperverse. This is something that Eric has consistently said in the past that he doesn't really care about the politics of the people he hires. He only cares about if the story doesn't reflect their real world politics. All he cares about is that the story is written well. But we're going to start here, and then the second thing as well is the whole Ethan saying, oh, Eric is attacking CG, he's deflecting from this and that, and his stuff is failing. Like, no, he's not doing any of that stuff. The beef is absolutely one-sided. Absolutely one-sided. Again, this goes back to a DM, I guess. Well, we'll say a DM or it's a text message because semantics matter nowadays. Both types of messages have text in them. So you again, as I said in my last video covering this, they were too busy arguing the semantics of a text or a DM, despite not really addressing the issue at hand. It was all about the semantics of that. But we're going to start, as always, right after that with AlphaCore breaking $1.2 million and still going until January 20th. And of course, you'll still be able to buy the book after the campaign ends from the Ripperverse store. As you can see, you can buy ISOM 2 and ISOM 1. Moving on over to Blade Devil 2 Chains of Blood. I will always continue to shill this book. I guess shill this book, even though I've put in my money and I've backed all the covers of this book because I was in after Blade Devil 1 was so good, which you can pick up right here from this campaign. I'm also going to be showing off Death, Death, Death from Joe Ball, where you can get a full color 300-page graphic novel for $45, line art for $30. These are hardcover, by the way, or a manga edition for $18. So that's 18 pages for a 300-page graphic novel. Right? Here are some of the colors. Here's some of the line art. Here's some of the manga version of this. So we are going to start here. Of course, these people, I guess, whoever they may be, bringing up old articles of, them being feminists, them being feminism and putting feminism into movies. Thanks for letting this BS in. Hashtag Comicsgate. It's crazy to me how all the weirdos out there are now ramping up this disgusting wave of behavior against the Soska sisters right as they are about to release Yaira. It's almost as if it's not about the comics, it's about trying to destroy your quote enemies because of a difference of opinion. Also, opinions can change over time, and even Eric July himself has said that he doesn't give a fuck about the politics of the people he hires. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this is the same type of nonsense they did with Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett when AlphaCore was about to come out. RPX says, first off, Comicsgate ended with your boy Zach. Second, they were kicked out of Marvel Comics for not being feminist and actually doing their jobs. You can read their run on Black Widow as proof. Third, that site labels anything females do as feminist. This person tried to come on and say, oh, you're a fan of Soska? What was your favorite project? I asked him what the proof, what was his favorite project. Never responded. Because again, these guys never get this feeling of being pressed on their questions or anything they say. So when you kind of press them on that and tell them to present proof, they never really show anything. They just talk out the side of their mouth and just put their opinion out there and think, oh, everybody's going to believe what you say. Right? Same thing with this weirdo right here. Nice work, Eric, you doofus. You see this Comicsgate? Now Ripper's leaving his feminist mark and fixing comics. Coming from someone who clearly didn't read the Black Widow book. Same thing with this person, saying, so you love to call gay people groomers and trans people fake. No, I said trans kids don't exist. Never said trans people were fake. I just said they are mentally ill. This is just one example of what they believe in. You either boycott this or you're an effing liar and a hypocrite. Opinions can change, and also, I wouldn't be a hypocrite, you mentally ill weirdo. Eric has stated plenty of times now that someone's personal politics don't matter as long as it isn't reflected in the books they write, meaning their writing style has nothing to do with their personal politics. Bruce pops in, well, one of those is fake. They're just people with mental issues that aren't being taken care of. Imagine being a fruitcake on that level, but suggesting it's an 8-year-old post, he corrected, but a 6-year-old post is now relevant in this case. Also, that was 2016, says Hobo. I remember at that time I was almost a Zack Snyder fanboy. Not sure why it's cool. It's okay for you to be trans. Just keep children out of it. It's such a difficult concept for detractors to grasp. Yeah, they're never gonna understand that because they're probably for that. They're probably for that weird stuff. Like I said, corrected the post. Nearly an 8-year-old post. Hell, the MCU was still good and profitable back then. Same thing. Coming from MSK, shout out to MSK. Ripperverse doesn't care about employees' politics. Just another example of people who don't like Eric don't ever understand his position, which is what these people on the left do. Is what leftists do. They never understand their opponent's position. They just spew nonsense. And here we go. Ethan agreeing with the bald-headed wench that is Vickyverse. When you've gone that far to now agreeing with a person who's been against you for so long, you've lost the plot. Literally, this person was shitting on you for years. And now you're agreeing with this person, even though they're wrong, because they don't know anything about business. They're basically homeless and volunteer at a soup kitchen, and she's ugly and bald. So she doesn't really know much. And again, these are, once again, Dick Masterson talking points to distract from the terrible reviews of his comic and behavior. He's had great reviews. He's had okay reviews. People say give out reviews for everything. And because he needs to find a way to make the money, he's sinking into his warehouse and shipping staff profitable. Sounds like he's going to offer a fulfillment service to Comicsgate crowdfunders to help pay those bills. The $100 monthly Mac Club didn't work out, I guess. Another talking point of the haters. They always bring up this garbage point of the $100 monthly Mac Club, even though it's been around well before the Ripperverse has been a thing. So again, this is absolute stupidity on your part, Ethan. Absolute stupidity. Considering he's been doing flash $5 sales for ISOM 1 to clear out the ridiculous 50K inventory, no, he hasn't been doing it. He did that one time. One time. Devaluing the comic insistence worth of 35 because quality tells you everything you need to know. Also, your books are still late. They aren't mutually exclusive. So, you got wrecked. So, but wait. What's this? I've been informed by RPX Jazz that Todd McFarlane said the exact same thing that Eric has said, the same exact thing that everyone has been criticizing him for about late books, about him calling out people who have late books. Let's take a listen to what Todd McFarlane has to say.
How is the comic book market? How's it look to you?
Okay, here, I learned a long time ago. Name's Todd, only rhymes with God, right? I control one human being's sort of actions, my own. If the comic book industry,
So essentially, taking responsibility for what you're doing, taking responsibility for the actions you are doing online.
Industry as a whole wants to,
in regards to comics, in regards to making indie comics,
be super creative and come up with a bunch of stuff and expand. What I'm doing within that is not really going to move the direction one way or the other. Conversely, if the comic book industry people want to basically figure out a suicide mission, my couple books are not going to stop that.
Exactly.
All I have control over is putting out quality books on a timely basis at a fair price.
At a timely basis, putting out books on a timely basis at a fair price. Wow, amazing how it's someone who's a comic pro in the industry still, who's essentially creating and writing and drawing Spawn, can literally say the same thing that Eric will say, but Eric will get criticized and Todd McFarlane won't.
Marvel's going to do what Marvel thinks is best, good, bad, or indifferent. whatever it is that you're doing, there should only be one goal, and this should be the same for anybody who runs sort of any company. Are you selling more of what you make? And I look at the comic book industry for the last 30, 35 years. Are we selling more comic books today than we were 35 years ago? The answer is no. No. So I could argue that whatever all of us have been doing is wrong. Why? Because we've contracted. If we start putting out junky comic books, then of course the fans shouldn't support junky comic books. And then they're not going to buy them. If they don't buy them, there's not going to be as many stores, or stores that are there are going to sell less. And if they sell less, then the publishers are going to probably want to make up. So all of it is all tied together. I think we're
Yeah, so essentially, mainstream comics continue to put out more garbage. People are going to buy less of your garbage, and then there'll be less books out there for people to read because you won't have the money to support anything new.
as good as the skill set that's out there, and some of the business decisions that are made by people who do have influence. Marvel and DC leading the charge. So if they want to bury this industry, they can do it. Now, here's my question: what day was it that the upper management of those companies thought they were doing a shit job? Never, never. Oh, even when you're heading towards a collision, we're not very good on the business side of seeing the collision.
Oof. Big oof. And this is coming from a guy who's been doing comics for so long. To which I respond to Ethan saying this. Once again, Dick Masterson levels of retardation. These are both literally Dick Masterson talking points, and he's a massive low count of piece of dog shit. Stop deflecting. This isn't an attack on CG. This is Eric pointing out the hypocrisy in the indie space where people talk shit about him constantly while sitting on people's money for years and not fulfilling said projects. And you want to talk about how he has twice my IQ? So if he's retarded, are you like a tube root vegetable that's trying to grow a beard like Eric's? No offense. To which I respond by saying Dick Masterson has below room temperature IQ. The dumbass couldn't even figure out stuff in ISOM number one. Asking questions that were answered in the book, saying putting a hand on someone's shoulder is akin to harming them. Are you high? Also, I've had a beard for years before I was even watching her. Yet again, another hater talking point. No original thoughts in your head, it would seem. And then everything underneath is pretty much just people hating on me. Because people on Twitter think that they can dogpile on me when all I do is monetize your garbage. That's all I do is monetize your hate, monetize your garbage. You could consistently hate on me and it doesn't affect me in the slightest. The only thing it does is fill my pocket with money. Because this is all you know how to do. This is all you people know how to do is hate on everyone else. Hate on everything, right? Hate on Eric constantly and you think this is somehow going to be a growing monetary thing for you. It's not. Similar to the people who want to make the bogus claim that the pre-order goal for Alpha Core number 1 is fake. The real goal is much higher to produce. Ship Alpha Core because Eric July is overspending, so 300k creates the illusion of greater success. Right? Because detractors are really getting desperate. So according to this person, right? Overperforms, right? Overperforms by what standard? His quote campaign goal doesn't even cover what he spends on salary in a quarter. Marvel's will probably end up being in the positive after physical copies doesn't streaming. Still a huge flop. No, the Marvels was garbage. It ended its run at 170 million and will lose hundreds of millions of dollars easily. 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 So, I digress. This is also what I've said to Ethan, right? An absolute moron constantly saying Eric was committing charity fraud. Lie. Saying his book was a scam. Lie. Saying Eric was going to lose the lawsuit. Lie. This motherfucker Dick Masterson lied about Eric for a year and he expected to receive respect? How does someone constantly get shit wrong, lie on a consistent basis, and somehow is smarter than me? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. And another thing, the more you weirdos, the more you idiots on this app, on Twitter, talk your nonsense, the more people see how deranged y'all are. And the more people start to listen more to what I have to say over what y'all have to say. Realize that. You're trying to do this too. Like, this doesn't do anything to me. My Twitter says renown 0. My YouTube says renown 0. Everything I use says renown 0. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who you're referring to, right? I have no idea who you're referring to. And none of you dudes can get the spelling correctly. None of y'all can be consistent when you're trying to quote unquote call out the dweeb or whatever nonsense you want to call it nowadays. And it always revolves and turns into something gay. Y'all are always consistently saying some gay ass shit, projecting your weirdo gay fantasies onto everyone else. Notice I haven't said a single gay fantasy type thing that you all use. And you keep doing it, and I'm still here making videos, still talking, because you can't do anything about it. Y'all can't do nothing, and that's y'all's problem. Y'all think you can sit up here and dogpile, supposedly, and yet I'm still here talking. Nobody wants to be mean to you. Like, what are you on about? You can go ahead and EFAP this video. You can go ahead and EFAP the last video because that's what you do, Ethan. Whenever someone disagrees with you, right? Because I'm simply disagreeing with what you're doing. Same way I disagreed with Nick Rekieta and what he's doing, but I never said I hated him. I never said I disliked Nick Rekieta. I like Nick Rekieta. Just some of the things he did, I disliked. But other than that, I really had no problem with him. Same thing with you, as I've said plenty of times. Plenty of times. But here's the thing: if we want to keep it consistent, right? Everyone wants to be out. Everyone wants to be out here talking about how ISOM 2, the sales decreased, the customers decreased, the fans decreased from ISOM 2 to Alpha Core. Two different IPs that not everyone is going to like Alpha Core, right? Not everyone was looking forward to Alpha Core. There's some people who like other characters over other characters. Are we going to sit here and justify that Wonder Woman is less important because she sells less books than Batman or Superman? If we're going to keep it consistent, right? So does that mean that you've lost customers from Cyberfrog 2 to Cyberfrog 3? You're down more than half from Cyberfrog 2 to Cyberfrog 3. You went from 11,893 backers at 1.208 million down to 4,270 backers at 566K. Right? Even Rainbow the Brute has less than that. Because again, it's a new IP. It's understandable. This will have less. Right? So that's the flaw with these people's arguments. So in these people's cases, so then did he lose? I guess he lost customers going from Cyberfrog to Rainbow the Brute, right? If you want to play this logic. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens when Alpha Core number 1 makes more money than Cyberfrog 2. That would be very interesting. I mean, it already has more purchasers than Cyberfrog 2. That's the part that would be very interesting if that happens. And looking at the numbers, as of recording of this video, it's only like 6K behind Cyberfrog 2. So that would be so funny. So funny when that happens. July didn't go full Vicky and complain about late books until he exposed himself as a shitty writer. He ain't a savior, he's a sucker. To which I respond, of course, to Richard Embry, right? I never realized a multimillionaire went full broke, bald, jobless, who volunteers at the soup kitchen. Now that's me referring to Vicky, right? Because they want to compare the two, I guess. You officially went full retard. By the way, interesting how my name comes out of your mouth during a live stream when you made the claim that Eric July hires all the weirdos. Who did you hire? A dog shit artist to draw essentially art no better than a 5-year-old's art that you put on the fridge to say you're proud of them. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing wrong with putting your child's art and saying you're proud of them. I mean, they're 5 years old. You can't expect them to draw Picasso at that age. Meanwhile, you sit up on your platform surrounding yourself with a bunch of bitches gossiping like women. A bunch of other unsuccessful people. Which, one of them is Liam Gray. which I've backed his Wonder Island, by the way, which is one of the people that Ethan doesn't like as well. So, of course, you have your usual Lombardi, right? This guy, I've been in conversations with this guy involving Cyberfrog, right? He said Eric settled because he would lose a lawsuit. In what world? Considering I've said it for months that it was ISOM the acronym versus ISOM the hero. They're not the same thing. They are not the same thing. So nothing was going to come of it. I said it months ago that it was going to be a frivolous nothing burger. And again, even Nick Rekieta said it was going to be a frivolous nothing burger. So conjecture, speculation, wishful thinking. Not necessarily two separate lanes, though. If he was sued in another country that had lax trademark laws, then yes. There are people who have law experience and I've heard them say that the lawsuit was going to be absolute nothing. There was somebody I think MSK was talking to about trademark law that said that the whole thing was going to be a big nothing. And of course, I have Dick Masterson responding to me, right? I don't really care. But he says, if you guys love Eric's comics so much, why don't you want them to be better? I said, no one should ever take advice from a little dickhead who cries for months on end about being called the N-word, after claiming you didn't care about the charity, after making claims that Eric was committing fraud, after you claimed the book was a scam. You want someone's business gone because of bad art. A guy who literally has a co-host creating a comic who claims they are for losers, right? You yourself claim that comics are for losers, and you have a co-host who's literally making a comic, hashtag when is superkiller, and a guy with a moniker of Juju the Cow. Your opinions are worthless and should never be taken serious. You should never be taken serious. As my notifications get blown up, right? Got rip-off verse. Fulfillment, pointless staff wages, moronic preprinting of stock, and all this other nonsense. A completely unnecessary expensive warehouse, as well as having to have paid out a huge amount to a Christian ministry, Inc. his lawyer fees to use their brand name. Do you think he's just sat on 7 million laughing? Again, this is what they do, right? They spew out a bunch of nonsense into the ether and expect it to stick. I said, present the proof that Eric didn't make profit. His business is still worth more than your fake one ever was. He never paid anything to that Christian ministry. It's a lie you weirdos like to clench onto, since you have to continue coping with the fact that he won and you didn't get the outcome you wanted. Yes, at the end of the day, Eric won because he got to continue using his character's name that came from an ancestor. So continue to cope. Modern feminism, yes. Old school, no. Also, Soska's politics can change, and even if they didn't, it does. If it doesn't affect the material, who cares? Because feminism, bullcrap lifestyle from this loser. Again, I asked this person what their favorite project was. No response, because this is exactly what happens. You press them on their BS talking points or whatever, and they never really have a response. Because they're so used to not having their beliefs pushed, never having their talking points pushed back against. They're just not used to it. Yeah. I basically said this person's account is all about Eric because it is. It's literally called the rip-offers. To which I said, you claims Eric to be bad at business. Also, you claims to have sold a business for 1.3 million euros. Eric makes over 7 million on a year and a half old venture. You, I'm better at business while at ankle bite. Shut the fuck up, you weirdo. That's all you get. So you're a feminist. I said, present where I said that. I understand you pussies get scared when you get asked for receipts, which I'm not responding to this because there's no reason to respond to this idiot. You're another one of those people who has an indie project and all you do is sit on Twitter and talk shit all day. All day. That's what you do. Damn, you sound like a mainstream journalist, Taylor Lorenzo. One last thing. We got Black Angus, right? Talking about he's going to be out. He's going to buy Rippaverse books to own Eric July. Oh no, because Eric July literally has said he'll take money from anybody, no matter what your political views are. This guy's so stupid. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Whatever, because he's a phony. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. And we're gonna be hitting hard at the Rippaverse like we should, because we will win. parallel economy, all this like shenanigans. He will trick his idiotic audience with that they'll regurgitate and parrot, think they're winning, like the settlement or the most milquetoast praise from
Once again, he won the settlement because he did not lose the trademark that the ministry claimed that they owned.
Malar.
Because of course, at the end of the day, there are hundreds of things called ISOM, so they would have to have gone after every other thing that's called ISOM.
Right in conjunction with saying, "Oh, pretty much every writer I've paid to write for me thinks I'm a good writer." We're not gonna let off the gas. You thought the hate
Just remember, this is also the same guy who claimed once again that Mark Millar was paid off to say ISOM was good.
was bad last year. We're just gonna keep on keeping on because everyone wants to play kid gloves with the black kid because he's the token in this sphere. Not him trying to be a token necessarily, but that's the reality. Everyone supports him because there's an angle with Eric winning. He's like, "Oh, why do you hate us? We support black-owned businesses." They love jumping to the race shield as soon as they can. They talk about
Because I guess that's exactly what leftists do all the time. So basically, people are just playing by the same rules that the leftists play by, right? They play by the same rules the leftists play by. Always want to say, "Well, we're supporting a black-owned business." Well, when you get the same rules, when the other side plays by the same rules that y'all play, y'all don't like that, and it's so frustrating for y'all. It's hilarious to see.
about diversity and pressure Olympics, but then they do it as soon as they can. If you say anything negative, we're not going to stop. It's just fun. I don't know. I think it's a big gay op.
Okay, we're done with. I don't need to listen to any more of that. Which is literally what I said. I said, imagine thinking the mindset will get you far on YouTube, just like the rest of the weirdos who do the same thing. All of Eric's haters that group up together just sound feminine as fuck. But they'll say, "Oh, Eric basically invented the ability to say a bunch of people gather together and being feminine as fuck and gossiping like women," right? It's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid, right? Absolutely stupid. I guess at the end of the day, though, people will also. I guess Are you gonna say the same thing to Yellow Flash? Are you gonna say the same thing to Yellow Flash, Ethan? What's this comment? Shout out to Yellow Flash, by the way. Great channel. So he says, I agree 100% here. I'm not putting my comics out until they're either done or at least 90% complete. The customer must be respected. So are you gonna go after Yellow Flash for saying that you should have a comic completely almost done, like completely done or almost done, too, before you put a book out? Probably not, because you wouldn't feel that Yellow Flash is a threat to you in the indie comics. Apparently, only Eric July is the big bad, you know, dragon you have to slay, as he would say, right? Again, I'm copying Eric's speech. Oh my God, because words were invented by Big Bad Eric July. At the end of the day, stop deflecting your insecurities of your late books that people have been calling out for years now, and just fulfill your projects. Work on your projects. Stop talking nonsense on Twitter. Stop making videos. If you have to work on your projects instead of making videos, do that. Which is something that Richard C. Meyer said in his last video that he put out 3 days ago, which I'll link below in the description if you guys want to go check that out. And just get your stuff to the people who you have taken money from. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like the video, hit the like button, comment below if you feel about all this, subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all. That way you'll get notifications anytime I post a new video or live stream. If you'd like to support further, you could become a member of the channel for just $1 a month. The join button is just down below the video. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.